Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast on a beautiful Tuesday morning. Bo Wolf, Zach Berman here. Lots to get to. We're going to talk to Brian Baldinger at about 11:30, and we're going to have our stock draft of the offense. We're going to talk about the players who we are most confident are either going to rise or fall over the second half of the season. But before we do that, we got to just shoot the S, as they say. Zach, how are you?
Doing great. Excited for the show.
Eagles made some moves yesterday.
Well, not like huge moves.
Every move is a huge move. How dare you?
Well, you know what? That is true.
Ross Pierschbacher is watching the show right now, trying to catch up on what's been going on with the Eagles, and you're telling him that he's nothing.
Well, if Ross is watching the show right now, I would say, Ross, welcome back to Philly, because we all remember he was with the team.
Yes, we do.
A year ago. He is
tough name to pronounce. Pierschbacher. You got to get that sh in there.
The sh in there. Yeah. Yes.
Ross, no S, no H sound, but then you gotta pivot from the straight S to the sh. Ross Pierschbacher.
I hope I'm not conflating him with somebody else here.
I believe that's Merrill's warm up before every Ross Pierschbacher, Ross Pierschbacher, Ross Pierschbacher.
But I believe he has a donut shop in Iowa that he frequents. I was once.
You were once trailing him. You were on a stakeout for Ross Pierschbacher, and you went on a half cross country trip, and you followed him to an Iowa donut shop.
No, I was looking for a topic of conversation, a way to connect, as Nick Sirianni says, connect, right? And I thought a donut shop in Iowa, that there was something that I read about it with him, and I thought that'd be a good way to.
Now, this is not like a family business like Joe Ostman's Family Bakery in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
That's right. I got to figure out. It might.
I believe there's also a Rick Lovato Family Bakery, or family pizzeria. Something in New Jersey,
like a deli, a sandwich shop.
Okay.
Yeah. His family since sold it, I believe.
Well, all that long snapper money. I mean, the guy's a Pro Bowler.
I always enjoy catching up with Rick Lovato. But Ross Pierschbacher brought in because last week when I was not here, the Eagles lost Julian Good-Jones to Washington's practice squad. So Julian Good-Jones was giving
to Washington's active roster.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Right, yes.
Washington's active roster. Julian Good-Jones was giving the Eagles depth at center on the practice squad. And so Pierschbacher now gives them that. Pierschbacher.
They also lost another offensive lineman. Didn't Brett Toth, he was signed to an active roster, I believe, as well. Wasn't he?
I go to Scottsdale for a weekend and I miss a Brett Toth signing. If that happened, that's the last time Emily and I are ever going away. My goodness. I know they lost Tyree Phillips. Is that who you're thinking of? I do not see.
I thought they lost Toth.
They lost Toth? Wow. Okay.
Am I wrong?
The suspense of this live show right now.
They had a hole to fill on. Panthers signed Brett Toth from Eagles practice squad 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. So that was a quite a time ago.
I can't believe you didn't have like
26th.
a 45-minute phone call with Mike Kay about that.
Shout out to Mike Kay. The Eagles did lose Brett Toth a few weeks ago.
They got some backfilling to do.
Yes.
So the good news is, Emily, you're still allowed to travel now because this didn't happen when you were on that self-driving car in Scottsdale.
And they released Kindle Vildor.
Kindle Vildor.
Who I enjoy reading from a Kindle. That was the joke we made when they brought him in. Yep.
Do you want to talk about, because you are a generally excited fellow. You bring enthusiasm.
Absolutely.
But as you said yourself, you don't know, or Emily doesn't know, that she's ever seen you quite as excited as you were to be in that self-driving car.
I didn't know we were going in this direction.
Guy loves technology.
Yeah, I do like technology, and I like to know where every business is going.
I like to know where every business is going.
Where businesses are going.
That sounds exhausting.
No, you like to be. You always like to be thinking ahead. You don't want to be stuck in your ways, right? And so I was reading about Waymo, which is it's like a ride sharing system it's in Phoenix. It's in Arizona.
It's a dystopian nightmare.
And basically, it's a self-driving car. It's like machine driving. There's cameras all around, changing lanes, making turns. it was amazing. And I literally said to Emily, this is the future. This is the future. And I said I sent a video to my brothers.
Yep.
I said, this is the future. I think they thought it was a little terrifying.
And you were like, I mean, Emily agrees that she had not seen you this excited in a very long time.
Oh, no, I mean, she thought it was like a little much to be excited about this. Like, you're going out on a date night to celebrate.
Well, and you said,
birthday,
you said you were going to Scottsdale, and you said the one thing that we need to do, the one thing that I really want to do is ride in a Waymo.
Yes, I did say that. And I was trying to explain to her what it was. Yes. And
she, in my opinion, properly decided after that first ride, that's enough for me. I'm a little bit skeeved out by this whole thing. I'm good on the Waymo situation.
She wasn't skeeved out by it. But she much preferred like an Uber or a Lyft in that situation. And I'm saying a Waymo is incredible here. Not just that, you program the music to play. Okay. So
you know what else? You know what else you can use that for?
What?
Just your headphones. Just your phone.
You're gonna be
program the music to play. Like that is not a big upsell for me.
But so this is the other side of it. Okay. I mean, while we're oversharing on the show, I was all prepared for the stock report, for the Baldi interview. I didn't prepare for this. But I also have a situation when I'm in an Uber or a Lyft where I'm making conversation with the driver.
That I know to be true for 100% certainty.
And so when you're in the Waymo, I'm making conversation with her and not conversation with the driver.
Oh, that is good, actually.
So I did say that. But
that's actually got to sort of needle you a little bit. Then you don't have a human. I would imagine that you were the kind of person. But if you're riding a Waymo by yourself, what are you going to do with yourself?
Well, yeah, I mean, in that case, I'll just be on my phone or something, but it wouldn't be the same. You're not learning about a driver. But in any event, this is actually a sentiment that you shared with me, and I think you shared it on the show when making fun of me in the past.
Never did
that. We were hiking Camelback, and one of the comments that Emily made to me was, "These people here don't want to talk to you." Like if you pass by, I comment on the hat of a person, a T-shirt. You're going up and someone's coming down. I say, "How is it up there?" And or we're going down and someone's going up, and I say, "Good luck. You have X amount more miles to go." And she said, they don't want to talk to you. They're here with their family, with their friends. Like they're not interested in a conversation with you right now. And you say that about me when
we're in another thing that goes up and down, and people are just looking to stay to themselves. An elevator.
An elevator. Okay. Yes. I was thinking more at restaurants. You said that the waiter or the waitress doesn't want.
Not necessarily. I think there's a little bit more leeway there, but I think the elevator one that we had. Where was that? That was in Arizona as well, actually, wasn't it? It was for the owners' meetings when we had that conversation.
Oh yes.
The guy, you say like, "Oh, that's my dental insurance."
Yes.
That was a good one. Remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, I mean, look,
like 6:45 in the morning, he's like accosting this guy because he worked for the same company that your dental insurance is.
Wasn't accosting?
I have my dental there. Like
I wasn't accosting the guy.
Like, I'm just trying to wake up.
I simply brought up to him. Yeah, and he was flattered. I think he was. So if I'm wearing a PHLY shirt or an ALLCITY shirt. Okay, and you can get our merch, by the way, at AllPHLY. You can go to the locker there.
Got
some great stuff. If I'm wearing that and I'm in an elevator and someone says, "Oh, PHLY," and I say, "Yeah, what do you think? What can we do better? How are the shows? How do you like Bo? What articles are you looking for on allphly.com?" Yeah, I would love if someone brought that up to me.
But what you have just described is someone says that, and you then open up the conversation, and you are the one asking questions about your own company. What that dynamic was the guy's wearing a shirt, like coming back from the gym or whatever it was, and you just launched straight into, "Oh my God, that's where I got my dental insurance. Do you like it? Is it a good company to work for?" Like,
okay,
where'd you meet your wife?
This was not a part of my show.
What did you learn from your father?
This was not a part of my show prep, number one. But I will definitely think he wasn't on his way to the gym. I think he was on his way to work too. Okay. And we talked about the insurance. We talked about it's his company. He would want to get feedback. He would want to have a conversation. I thought, right?
Now, I think I do need to break the fourth wall a little bit here. Our producer Julia grew up with Zach. Is this how Zach has always been, Julia? Would you say? Yes. She's laughing and she says 100% yes. So it's good. You are who you are.
Err on the side. So I just want to clarify here. What you were ripping on me for
I'm not ripping.
This
is not ripping.
Is like being friendly to people.
This is not ripping. This is
engaging.
This is a character study.
Is like showing it. So I think that showing interest in the other person, okay, as opposed to, are you ever around someone and they only talk about themselves?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm showing interest in the person in the elevator, in the waiter or waitress,
we have had this conversation before.
Uber driver,
the only thing that I'm saying is that not everybody is wired the way that you are, where they want to have a conversation with a stranger. Some people just want to be left alone for a few minutes.
I had an Uber driver the other day who he's worked, I think, 6.5 years on. He's starting this home building company with a specific type of material, and we got into the whole thing, and he gave me his card at the end, and Emily was a little like, okay, like, how deep are you getting in this? Because I had a lot of follow-up questions, but you know what? All right, and we'll transition to the actual Eagles stuff with this. I would like to think, and I'm gonna pat myself on the back here, I would like to think this is what I think this is what makes me a good reporter, a decent reporter. Like, if you're naturally curious,
yes.
If you hear something that Russ Piersbacher and the donut shop, or something of that nature, and you just strike up a conversation. Some of the best stories I have, I wrote last year about Josh Sweat and the computers. I saw a little nugget. We were talking about it. That turns into something bigger. That turns into something bigger. So I think being naturally curious is a good thing for my profession, and I'm not gonna
100% agree with that.
Okay.
Nobody wants you to be any different, Zach. We just like getting to know you even better. We are naturally curious about what goes on in your mind.
Well, the Philadelphia Eagles goes on in my mind, so I'm eager to talk about them.
Okay, well, before we do that, let's talk about Herobread, because Herobread is your healthy, low-carb solution for munching on some bread. The taste and texture, can't beat it. It's soft and fluffy, delicious, scrumptious. Primary nutritional interest is high fiber and or ultra low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar per slice. And if you want to check it out, the discount code for your first purchase is PHLY for 10% off at hero.co. There's also some secondary nutritional value here. You get fewer calories than the leading national brands, 5 to 10 grams of protein per serving. So right now, Herobread, once again, offering the PHLY fam 10% off their first order. Just go to hero.co and use our code PHLY to save on Herobread today. That's HERO.co to save 10% today. All right, Zach, let's get into this draft that we have. Now, set this up. Pretty basic. Mm-hmm. We're just drafting the people who we are most confident are going to go one way or the other based on the first half of their season. So if you think that A.J. Brown cannot possibly sustain this historic pace, you're going to say, I'm gonna buy A.J. Brown selling. Not buy. You're gonna draft selling A.J. Brown stock heading into the second half of the season. If you think that Tanner McKee is about to take over as the starting quarterback, you're going to draft Tanner McKee. That might be what I do with my first pick. We're going to do offense today, defense tomorrow. I will leave it up to you. Would you rather have the first pick on the offensive side of the ball or on the defensive side of the ball?
First pick on the offensive side of the ball.
Okay. I think you're gonna scoop me here, aren't you?
I suppose I am. Now, I didn't know this until I saw the photo. Okay. The thumbnail for today's show, and when people watch it back on YouTube, they'll see it. DeVonta Smith. Buy your DeVonta Smith stock now. DeVonta Smith has been solid this year, but I think he's going to be even better. There's a few things. First off, in the month of December in his career, it's been the best month that he's had. He's had 2 Decembers. He averages 77.1 yards per game in December, the highest of any month that he plays. Now, there's nothing specific about December. But I think later in the year, he's been playing better. He's not someone whose production fades. He's someone whose production ascends. So I'll start with that.
For 2 years so far. It's a 2-year sample size, but yeah.
It's a 2-year sample size, yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's literally the only
Right,
thing
I know,
we have
but
to
like,
go off of here. So in it, okay, I'll qualify this for Bo and all the minions out there. In the 2 years that DeVonta Smith has
I'm just
played,
saying you can't
he has
definitively
ascended.
say he is a player whose production ascends. That's
I mean,
so far that has been the case.
if you look at his career at Alabama, his production kept going up as the season progressed too. So DeVonta Smith, and then I'm expecting AJ Brown to get a lot of attention. He already is getting attention, but I think teams will continue to look at ways to try to limit AJ Brown without Dallas Goedert on the field for presumably the next 4 to 5 games. I would imagine that there's an uptick in targets to wide receivers, DeVonta Smith being one of them. And I'm expecting, so DeVonta Smith is on pace now, I believe, for like 70, 75 catches, a little over 1,000 yards. I think he's going to push into 80 catches. I think he's going to push into over 1,100 yards. I'm expecting a big second half from DeVonta Smith.
Yeah, one of the interesting things that I found on that piece on the offense, that which you can read on allphly.com, and if you are a diehard, like his DeVonta Smith's like per target, per route numbers are basically the exact same as they were last year. The difference in the drop of production is just that he is not getting targeted as much. It was like 26% last year, 21% this year. I do believe that Dallas Goedert being out, the biggest beneficiary of that target-wise is going to be DeVonta Smith. I think they're going to funnel more targets his way. That would have been my first pick as well.
And we should also note they're going to want to keep DeVonta happy. DeVonta is eligible for a contract extension after the season. I don't think there's going to be any DeVonta discount. We'll have ample opportunities to discuss this during the offseason, but DeVonta is going to command major money. The Eagles are going to pay that money, or are going to be willing to. And I think the only question is going to be if DeVonta is going to want to go into free agency or if he's going to want to sign ahead of time.
I like the sort of the interplay between those two guys on the AJ Brown mic'd up, which you also saw the week before on the DeVonta Smith mic'd up. We try to sort of armchair psychologize what's going on in terms of how badly they want the ball, and AJ Brown pouting on the sidelines early in the season, DeVonta Smith wanting the ball. I think it's okay to say that they can have a healthy competition with each other and still be very good teammates to each other and still get along.
I heard an interview with AJ last week. I apologize, I'm not crediting it to whom. I'll circle back tomorrow with the proper credit. But AJ was basically saying like him and DeVonta have grown really close this year. And you got to remember, like AJ and DeVonta, they knew each other, but they weren't like as close as like Jalen and AJ were. And I think that now working with each other for a year, naturally, the more time you spend with someone, the closer you get with them. AJ referenced how DeVonta is kind of playing for like a greater purpose now that he's a father. And that's something that AJ has discussed in the past. So, I think they are really bonding right now.
All right, I'm going to take some low-hanging fruit with my pick here.
You? Low-hanging fruit? No.
Is that like a me thing? I don't know. I'm going to take Jack Stoll up.
Okay, that was not on my list.
I'm going to buy some Jack Stoll stock. The guy has 2 catches for 10 yards over the first half of the season with Dallas Goedert out. I think we're going to see a little bit more Jack Stoll. As long as he gets 3 catches, I'll take a victory here. Last year, when Dallas Goedert went down, the Eagles did not change too much. They tilted a little bit more to 11 personnel away from 12 personnel, but not a ton. And I think what is interesting this year is like last year's offensive philosophy seemed so easy, right? They were the best running team in the NFL out of 11 personnel, and they were the best passing team in the NFL out of 12 personnel. They went heavy to throw to get the mismatches on defense, and then they went light to run. This year, it has not been that easy. They are, out of 12 personnel, 12th in passing in terms of EPA per dropback, and 8th out of rushing from 11. So still very good, but they've actually been better doing what you would expect teams to do in those formations. They've been 2nd in EPA per rush out of 12 personnel and 5th passing out of 11 personnel. All of that is to say that I don't think that this is like we need to get Jack Stoll and Grant Calcaterra on the field or Albert O. I think they can just sort of roll with, let's let Jack Stoll be in on 11 personnel, handle his blocking assignments, get a target, twice a game or something like that. And I will take that production as his stock rising for me. And of course, everybody knows Jalen trusts Jack.
Yeah, I mean, this is like buying a penny stock, right?
But we're not drafting necessarily for whose like production is gonna rise or fall the most. In my estimation, it's who am I most confident is going to rise or fall. But yeah,
real quick here, the Bills have fired Ken Dorsey, okay, their offensive coordinator. They have, according to Adam Schefter here, the new interim offensive coordinator is going to be Joe Brady. Now, Joe Brady, who once interviewed for the Eagles job that went to Nick Sirianni, will be calling plays against the Eagles in 2 weeks. So just want to mention that on here. Ken Dorsey, who was kind of like the hand-picked coordinator for Josh Allen. Josh Allen had a lot of sway there, but that Bills offense is struggling. The whole Bills team struggling.
Yeah, right, I mean, this is Sean McDermott looking for a scapegoat here. Mm-hmm. Things have not gone his way
because he doesn't really have a defensive coordinator.
Right. He already backdoor scapegoated Leslie Frazier, and now he's also got reporting says like a bigger hand in the offense, and that has not gone well. It's like he may be going down with the ship potentially if this thing really craters.
Something worth monitoring.
All right, over to you.
That game in 2 weeks is going to be a big one. I promise you, I will not do all buying here, because I do think we need to sell some. I know I'm a buy and hold type. We've discussed that, but for the sake of the show,
this is less about stock advice.
I am going to buy DeAndre Swift, and the reason I'm going to buy DeAndre Swift is the running game struggled here in the past 4 or 5 games. Well, Cam Jurgens has been out. Jalen Hurts has been banged up. So when Jurgens gets back and Hurts gives you the +1 in the running game, then I think that's certainly going to benefit Swift. The other thing there is the Eagles only face one defense the rest of the way that's in the top 10 in run DVOA. And some of these defenses that they're playing, such as the Chiefs, for instance, this week, are more susceptible against the run than they are against the pass, at least when you look at DVOA. So I do think there's going to be opportunities to run the ball. Now, the Giants can't really stop anything, but the Eagles can run the ball against the Giants. And DeAndre Swift, I know there was like a little to-do on the radio stations about his workload a few weeks ago. I don't think that he's taken this like pronounced workload in the past few weeks. I think as long as he avoids injury, I don't think he's wearing down. So I'm expecting DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think generally buying the running game into the second half is a good idea for the reasons you said. The schedule sort of sets up that way. I do think that the workload is like a thing that is going to be on their mind a little bit because they want him. I think they probably want to be able to lean on him in the second half of the season. I mean, down the stretch in the playoffs. But yeah, I think right now he ranks 7th in the league in rushing. There's like a sort of a jumble from like 3 to 10. And 2 games over 100 yards. I think I would agree that I would expect like maybe 300-yard rushing games or something like that over the course of the second half of the season. I kind of want to like piggyback off of that and just say Rashad Penny up and go with another penny stock here.
I see what you did there.
But,
you should. Why not?
I mean, he's got like 3 carries on the season. I think he's going to have more than that down the stretch.
And you think they've kind of kept him in bubble wrap?
Well, I don't know if that. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. I'm going to hold on that for now. You know what? This is not a lot of fun to say, but I'm going to say just a little bit of a drop for AJ Brown.
Okay.
And
that was I had that too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's crazy. The guy is playing and producing out of his mind right now. He's 2nd in the league in receiving. Like, do I think he's going to finish with 1,900 yards receiving? Probably not. Now, maybe the Goddard absence means that you don't have to take too much pressure away from him, but I do think that we're going to sort of see defenses doing even more. And with no Goddard, that means that they can probably afford to put more resources on AJ Brown. I just think like this is sort of a classic course of the season. You're reacting to what the defense is doing. They're reacting to what you're doing. Maybe at the end of the season, it'll be A.J. Brown again, but I think we're going to see a little bit of a stretch where his production just dips a little bit.
Yes, I have literally on my notes here, can't sustain this pace.
Yeah.
Or I should say won't. I think he can, but
Right. I mean, he's like, the 7th betting favorite for MVP or something like that. Like, I just don't think that that's going to continue.
I should apologize for my voice, by the way. I was listening to the show in the car with Emily last night, and she said, "Are you sick?" And I said, "I feel great, but I think my voice is a little more hoarse than it usually is." So I apologize to our listeners. And
Hadn't
viewers.
noticed.
Hadn't noticed?
Yeah, I think you sound great.
I'll take a compliment from you whenever I can get it.
Yeah.
All right. So my last one before Baldi is Jordan Mailata. I'm gonna sell.
Really?
Just because he's got a really tough schedule of some edge rushers coming up. Micah Parsons again, of course. Kayvon Thibodeau twice. I really like Thibodeau. He's having a good season here. He's got Chase Young for a third time. Chase Young, who he'll tell you, Chase Young is tough to play against. I saw some of that Niners game the other day. That was a heck of a pickup by John Lynch and the Niners. I think that's one of those like really underrated moves that's going to pay dividends. So
an underrated move, the guy like Chase Young, as if like no one was paying attention to the Niners trading for Chase Young.
Well, the Bears gave more for Montez Sweat.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that nobody was paying attention.
I would rather have Chase Young than Montez Sweat.
Well, yeah, but they're not signing.
I'm just
Chase
saying,
Young.
I feel like the Montez Sweat move got more attention than the Chase Young move.
I don't feel like that.
And
but,
number one, and then number two, the Niners were also going after some other guys, and so it was like, this is the first one. Wait till you see what's next. Chase Young is a headliner. Chase Young that's a huge move. I don't want to say that tilts odds, but what it does is it makes that Niners pass rush even more formidable. So he's got Parsons, Kayvon Thibodeau twice, Chase Young. The Bills are kind of like mixing guys around, but someone who I was higher on in the draft than you were, AJ Epineza.
You were not higher on him than me. I drafted him in the shadow draft.
I was higher on him than you were. He didn't like his measurables.
Yeah, I liked AJ Epineza. I drafted him. It's actually funny. I was looking at that. I happened to be looking at that last night because of the Epineza, because he had that sack.
Okay.
And that draft that I had was an unbelievable draft.
If you don't say.
No, I mean, but let me get to it.
And he's referring to a shadow draft.
But let me get to this. So this is the 2020 shadow draft. In terms of like a roster of draft picks, it outperforms the draft class to an unbelievable degree, right? It's Justin Jefferson, AJ Epineza, Gabe Davis, like late round picks like Geno Stone, who's been helpful, and Hakeem Adeniji and a couple other guys. And yet, like pick for pick, it's better than the Eagles draft in almost every way, but one of them has Jalen Hurts.
Yes.
And like you would trade Justin Jefferson and AJ Epineza and Gabe Davis and whoever else all day long for Jalen Hurts, and that's what matters the most. And kudos to tip your cap. That's all that mattered.
Carson Wentz wouldn't, but you would. Yes.
Yeah. So that's all. It's just an interesting thought experiment. All right. Quickly, I'm gonna tick the box. I'm gonna take Rashad Penny. I think that he's gonna be a little bit more involved in the running game down the stretch than he has been. I don't know if we know anything about this Boston Scott personal situation that kept him out last week. I imagine he'll be back, but we don't know that for sure. I just think that, again, I'm going up against the fact that he has 3 carries over the first half of the season. I think he'll have more than that over the second half. That's all.
And you are sticking to your penny stocks here.
Yes, there you go.
So let me tell you about Game Time, by
Please
the way,
do.
here, because the next time the Eagles are home is against the Buffalo Bills, who will have a new offensive coordinator. And if you're excited about that Eagles offense or defense in that game, and you want to see how the Eagles look coming off the Chiefs game, but you don't have tickets, well, where would you look? You would look at the Game Time app. Buying tickets to your favorite event should not be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. With killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have. I'm not just reading an ad. I used it on Sunday to go to the Sixers game. Got great seats at a great price thanks to the Game Time app. Browse through the Game Time app, and you can find flash deals and last-minute tickets. Easy to find and buy tickets for every kind of event images of seat views, which I used. I showed my son. Lowest price guarantees, event cancellation protection. I certainly hope you don't have to use that, but that protection is there. And job loss protection. I definitely hope you don't have to use that either. Get images of your seat view before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive, and buy tickets in a matter of seconds. Just 2 taps and you're set. Snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
I love how much you love the 2 taps. And you make sure to actually do the 2 taps.
I appreciate anyone who advertises on PHLY, and I'm happy if they want to illustrate the fact that it takes 2 taps, and I can drive the point home by tapping the table twice. Happy to do so.
Yeah, it's a good. I think if you're someone who wants to play like PHLY Eagles podcast bingo, that's one to put on the board. Is Zach going?
And what else? You making fun of me would be one.
You making fun of me. I don't know. Us laughing, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe you talking about how much you like Josh Sweat.
Me saying right a lot. And actually Nick Sirianni does this as well. Something I need to work on is I'll punctuate a sentence with right.
Better than left.
I suppose so, but.
I think maybe a few too many ums coming from my direction.
You're an guy. I'm an guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So just look, this is the bye week for both of us.
Good stuff.
I did self-scouting too during the bye. Although it's kind of like a New Year's resolution. Don't wait for January 1st. If you have something to fix it right away. That's kind of how I look at it. Like I listen to the show. If there's things I need to fix, I can do it right away.
There you go. Mm-hmm. We don't have Baldi yet, do we? Okay, so we're waiting on Baldi. We'll talk to him in a little bit. Let's keep going with the draft.
Okay,
Zach, you're back on the board.
Back on the board here, and I will go with Cam Jurgens buying it, and that's because you're probably getting Cam Jurgens at a lower price now than you would have earlier on. You know,
but not as low of a price as you would have gotten 3 weeks ago. Like that would have been the time to buy. Now you've waited for him to finally be ready to come back.
But maybe out of sight, out of mind, and all of a sudden Cam Jurgens gets back, and when this Eagles run game gets going, we're going to be saying, Cam Jurgens, man, this is the difference. They don't, Sua Opeta wasn't cutting it. Tyler Steen, hot and cold. You get Cam Jurgens back in there, and it changes the running game. So I think we'll be discussing Cam Jurgens.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be that simple. And I know that the splits of when Jurgens played versus when he didn't play are really stark. They were a much better running team with him and a much worse passing team with him, and vice versa over the past 4 or 5 weeks. I don't know that it's that simple. I think that tells a little bit more of a story of like Jalen Hurts' season progression. What are you smiling at?
I'm reading the comments. People have a lot of things that would be on that bingo card.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything you want to share? You're trying to engage the audience, but all you're doing is smiling.
Well, I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want to interrupt you. Here, do you want to read some of these?
Let's see. ZB saying I wasn't prepared for this. This wasn't on my show notes. That's a good one.
Okay.
Courtesy of Claire.
Okay.
Let's see.
ZB not getting
ZB getting needlessly defensive. ZB not getting a pop culture reference. I don't know that we need to be taking shots at Zach in the comments.
Yeah, there's a lot of these.
Let's leave that to me.
What about Bo? Let's scroll down. Let's find some Bo ones.
Bo being extremely handsome. Bo being very fashionable. Bo not being anything like Jay Leno at all.
Bo being very fashionable?
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
I don't think anyone said that. I mean, they see what you're wearing today.
What's wrong with this? It's a nice sweater.
It's not particularly fashionable.
You're wearing a gray hoodie. Why is that more fashionable than a red sweater? What is unfashionable about this?
Is GQ going to put that on their cover?
I'm not trying out for GQ. Is GQ going to put you on their cover?
I mean, if
where does this bravado come from of your fashion? It's one of the most bizarre things. You're like the most self-effacing guy, but you think that you are like Gianni Versace or something like that. What is going on?
Who's Gianni Versace? I'm familiar with Versace. I don't think it's Johnny Versace.
I didn't say Johnny.
I don't know what you said, but do we have Baldi here?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. No. Honestly, I feel fairly confident in this. That if you and our listeners have confirmed this, that
No, they haven't.
yes, they have. People comments. If you go into our YouTube page, people say that I am more fashionable than you are. I don't think this is like a wild
your burner account.
You think I have a burner account posting comments on YouTube?
Yes.
You think I'm honestly? I've said this in the past. Okay, there was someone doing a
lot of pop for the sweater on the chat. People loving this sweater that I'm wearing.
Okay.
Well, all of a sudden you don't think what the people say matters.
The hypothetical man said great sweater. Where else did you see great sweater on here?
Several people. Scroll up. Several people like the sweater. Claire says it's a nice sweater.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
It's a great sweater. Jeez. Unbelievable. All right. I'm gonna sell Zach's fashion. No, let's see.
I certainly want to buy yours.
This is so weird, but it's like mean. You know, I don't know where you're coming from. It's like you're saying like it's like an established fact, like you are taller than me. Like
no,
like,
we know that's not the case.
Well, yeah, it's about as accurate. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I don't know that I want to go on the record on that one just yet. You know what? I'm gonna go with. I think Olamide Zaccheaus is the guy who I kind of trust the most of those third options right now with Goddard out. What are you laughing at? Go ahead.
Well, I'm listening to you with that way.
Bo is more stylish, but plaid ain't for him, Santiago says. So I'll try to stay away from the plaid from now on. I like when Olamide Zaccheaus gets thrown the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I like what he does with it. I think he is a little bit underutilized. And you look at the target rates for guys who have run as many routes as he has. He is the least targeted player in the league who has run as many routes as he has. A lot of that has to do with the thing that you always say about we're going to funnel the targets towards those top three guys. I think without Goddard, you got to find somebody. And like Zaccheaus is the one who's going to be on the field the most, even if you think that Julio Jones is going to be a part of the offense. I don't yet know what Quez Watkins is going to be like. He could be the guy to buy, but I just think that I think there's space for Olamide Zaccheaus to have a bit of a role in the offense.
Yeah, no, I would lean more toward Julio Jones than Olamide Zaccheaus.
Yeah, this is. I think I disagree with that. I think I lean more towards Zaccheaus.
Zaccheaus, I think Zaccheaus is more of like a dirty work guy, and I think Julio Jones is more of a pass catching guy for them.
Like we'll find out, I guess. I feel like Julio Jones is a little bit more dirty work.
Okay, I mean, literally when Nick Sirianni did the role meetings before the season, I know Julio wasn't there. He told Olamide Zaccheaus, your role is to be the blocker. Your role is to do the dirty work. And Nick Sirianni even said when they signed Julio that they'll always have a role in their offense for someone like Olamide Zaccheaus, who's like does the dirty work, who's tough. And I think that's kind of the way they view him more so. I think Julio.
But the roles change and Dallas Goedert is out.
Sure.
That's what I'm buying. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm buying Julio Jones stock because if you listen to this show, Julio Jones does not get the reverence that someone of his stature and resume deserves. I mean, Julio Jones, you're talking about one of the great players in NFL history. You're talking about someone who's going to have, I mean, you and I might be in Canton covering his Hall of Fame induction for PHLY.
I'm not making the trip for that.
You're not making the trip for that?
No.
I mean,
a guy who played like one busted season for the Eagles at the end of his career, that I'm going to travel for that.
What if Julio Jones catches a big touchdown in the Super Bowl and it caps this great career that he's had, and he goes to Canton and they say, you know what, this would be great podcast content. You and Zach go out to Canton, do a week of shows.
A week of shows?
Julio Jones.
A week of shows for Julio Jones, who had like 8 catches for the Eagles?
Have you ever been to Canton?
No.
Okay.
A week of shows on Julio Jones's Eagles career? 1 show per catch?
I mean, there's a lot going. There's a lot left to. There's a lot left to happen here. I'm trying to.
Okay, now watch this. Now let's slow this down. Okay, here's his right foot. All right, now let's move this forward. Okay, his left foot lands. All right, now this is right foot.
Are you calling Julio Jones slow?
No, I'm saying if
Don't
we're gonna do
race
an
Julio
hour,
Jones.
if we're gonna do an hour episode on every catch of his Eagles career, we're gonna have to really slow it down and take it step by step.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a week on Julio.
Listen, that's what you're selling. I bet the advertisers are gonna eat that up.
It's like clarity. Yeah, I mean, let's engage the Canton community. By the way, so
Engage the Canton community.
yeah, we can get some ads while we're out there.
Yeah, that's our rocket ship to the top is engaging the Canton community.
I once stayed in Canton. I went to see LeBron James play in high school, and I stayed in Canton.
Played against your brother.
Played against my brother. Yeah.
And don't you have the video of what is it?
Yeah. So I took a video. This was like pre-cell phones, and I saw. Okay, let's get to Baldi now. We can get that story afterwards.
Okay, we'll get to that story afterwards. Brian Baldinger, our weekly guest. Baldi, how are you? Well, no worries. Now, are we able to? We can't hear you at the moment, Baldi. I'm sorry. Do you do you mind just leaving and coming right back? Sometimes that works. And then we'll keep it very quickly. Oh yeah, we got you. Oh no, we don't. Okay. You know what, Baldi? Yeah, don't worry about it. We can catch up later. I don't want to monopolize your time. We can't hear you. If you leave and click the link again, sometimes that works, but it's all right. We'll see if he pops back in. I feel bad for Baldi. I don't want to waste the man's time. He's the busiest guy in NFL media.
But make sure you check out his show with Anthony Gargano, the ALLCITY NFL show, daily, just like the PHLY Eagles show. So a lot of content for you that you can find on podcast feeds, on YouTube.
Yeah, they're doing a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Crossing our fingers. Hey, Baldi. No, it's not working. All right, Baldi, don't worry about it. We'll catch you another time. We appreciate
See you next week.
Your help. Thank you very much. All right. That's too bad. Let's just transition straight to an ad read so that we can get our bearings. I think that's the right thing to do. Let's talk about Foco, because Foco is a leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and more. It's the best officially licensed gear for all sports and fandoms. It's football and tailgating season. Overalls, hoodies, hats, sunglasses, bags, everything you need for a game. Foco has hooked PHLY up and provided awesome pieces for our sets. Foco always has our back for Philly sports, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around by using the link in our description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code PHLY for 10% off.
So real quick, I'll finish that LeBron story while we're
sure.
So I was at that game. He was playing against. I don't want to say he was playing against my brother. There were much better players on the team than my brother.
How dare you?
But
which brother was it? Give him the shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Matt.
What was Matt's game like?
What was Matt's game like?
Yeah.
He was real good cheering from the sidelines. No, I mean Matt.
Oh my God!
Joking.
I'm giving you a chance to gas the guy up.
No, Matt. He's a good shooter.
Okay. Deadeye.
A really smart point guard. Knows where to go with the ball. Knows how. Yeah. But
scrappy defender.
Shooter. And honestly, I always wanted Matt on my team in 2-on-2 because he had like the. Nick Sirianni would love him. He had the competitive zeal.
Was Matt the best shooter of the Berman brothers?
Oh, I can't rank them.
You literally could rank them. That's I'm not asking you to be like who's the nicest. It's who's the best shooter.
Yeah, I mean Matt. Yeah, you're gonna get me in trouble here, but I'll probably go with Matt just because Matt was my teammate, and I gotta stick it. I gotta stick with my teammate, right? So yeah, I'll go with.
Yeah,
Matt,
I'm not asking you who you love the most.
I mean, yeah, but shooting's like a very It's like a righteous.
Yeah, but you've watched enough of your brother's shooting to probably
I've
have like their
watched
general
so much of-
shooting
yeah.
percentages over the years. You must.
So anyway, so I was so fascinated to see LeBron James. Okay, and I went out there and I was taping the game. Okay, on like a video recorder, like an old school video recorder, and you know where you have the mini cassette in there, and I taped this whole game, and then this was like in November, and then a few weeks later, my dad used that tape to tape my sister's ballet recital. And I'm a very like even keel. Like I don't get angry very often. I certainly not. Like growing up, I didn't get angry at my parents, right?
Unless somebody's like has questionable fashion sense.
But I'm not angry about that. I'm just
You seem angry.
just being definitely not angry. Just being
You seem
objective.
angry.
But what I will say is that I was like furious.
Sure.
I mean, the homemade LeBron James video, that's pretty special.
No, but there's still a little bit of
There's still a little bit of it. You see his 3-pointer at the end of the first half, which was like right in front of me, a turnaround 3. He scored 38 that game.
All right. I'm gonna go on the record here. This is a tough one because you can make a case for either side of Jalen Hurts, right? He's playing at an extremely high level, but he is not the same runner that he was. He's hampered there. He leads the league in completion percentage over expectation. That's the kind of thing that you would expect to regress a little bit. Some of those things are like why he's good. It's because he throws a lot of deep balls. It's because he had A.J. Brown, who's winning these contested catch situations. I don't think that that's going to come down too much, but I think it comes down a little bit. On the other side, you expect that the turnovers are going to probably positively regress. It's not like he's playing like loosey-goosey football necessarily as a passer, at least, like Josh Allen is. I do worry about the fumbles. Like the fumbles is a thing that he is a little bit more in control of and is not doing a great job with, but I expect there to be a little bit fewer turnovers. This murderer's row that they've got coming up, you could make the case that means that, his play is going to drop a little bit. These are going to be tougher games. So, he's lost 2 games in the regular season over the past 2 seasons. Chances are he's going to lose more than that in the second half of the season. But those defenses aren't awesome, right? I think if I have it broken down here, top 10 DVOA defenses, they've played 3 in the first half of the season. They're playing 3 in the second half of the season. Bottom 10 DVOA defenses, they've played 3. They're going to play 3. So it's about the same. I'm going to buy Jalen Hurts stock because I think that right now he's like second in MVP voting. I think Jalen Hurts might win the MVP. I think if he stays healthy and the Eagles have the season that I sort of expect them to down the stretch, I think this could be the Jalen Hurts season.
Well said. I don't think that's a bold take at all. I think actually that would be a good bet right now. Now there are other
odds-wise, it's not that great.
There are
other
other worthy candidates, but I'm expecting even more from Jalen Hurts. I love his receivers. I think that he has these like big platform games that he's going up that he's going into. The best game that he's played for the Eagles was the Super Bowl last year against Kansas City. Biggest stage against Patrick Mahomes. I think that he's going to be healthier after the bye. He'll run more. I don't think the passing declines. So I'm looking for a huge second half from Jalen Hurts, and I think that is a good bet to make.
All right. Why don't we do one more each?
Okay, so I'm gonna. This might be sacrilegious, but listen to me. I'm gonna sell Jason Kelce stock here because I don't think this Jason Kelce stock can be any higher right now.
It's impossible.
I mean, Jason Kelce.
But
every
now
time
you're now going to be celebrating when he gets injured. That's a little bit untoward.
No, I think Jason would tell you too. Like he's at a point in popularity that I don't think even he could have ever fathomed.
Yes.
Right. He spends his.
Did you go back and rewatch or re-listen to his appearance on the?
Yeah, on that. Yeah.
What'd you think?
I thought he was entertaining.
You wrote that story, obviously.
Yeah. I actually like him in the pre and post game setting too. I think he's kind of.
I was disappointed that his time in the booth was just like a long interview.
Yeah.
Which would have been very frustrating if you were like a lowly fan of one of those teams. But yeah, like let him call the game. Yeah. Like I want to hear his analysis.
I've seen him do it. He's good. He can pick things up right away. Kelce, Yeah, I mean, he's on a national TV game during the bye week. His brothers in South America at a concert. So yeah, I mean,
Okay.
they're the Kelseys are, every commercial is like a Kelsey commercial now. He's also been a darn good football player this year. He's stayed healthy. He's been like a rock on that offensive line.
Well, and let me just say, take some time out of your day. Go watch the video that Fran Duffy put together. He watched every single snap of Jason Kelce's career, and he tells like this wonderful story of what makes him so good, the arc of his career, why he is a Hall of Fame player. Absolutely worth your time. Fantastic work from Fran.
I'm glad you shouted that out. Yeah, Fran's outstanding. So yeah, I mean,
in a great fashion sense.
This is nothing, man. I apologize. This is really.
Listen, you're speaking your truth. I mean,
look, you look great.
You're the only one who has that truth. But
you look great in that. I'm trying to describe what the getup is here, but
it's nice jeans, a red sweater, and Allbirds. What is wrong with that? You look like you're wearing platform shoes.
Platform shoes. Platform shoes. I'm wearing.
I'm saying, like a big heel on those bad boys.
I'm wearing Nike Air Maxes.
Okay. And a gray hoodie. Why is that superior?
Look, I think we've beaten this horse enough. Okay.
I just don't understand it.
So Jason Kelce has been awesome. I just don't know if that stock can get any higher. So I suppose in this buy or sell structure, I would sell that one just because I think that stock's really high right now.
You know what? I want to go back to the Mailata one. I meant to say this before because you gave that list of edge rushers he's going up against. But I think like it's not like he's coming off of a place where he's viewed as a great left tackle right now. He has struggled in pass protection. He's been awesome in run blocking.
Yes.
But you saw the sack last week against the Cowboys. I don't know that necessarily means that it's like stock dropping to me on Mailata because I think that's the level he's been playing at. Yeah, I'm actually I on my list I would have had him a slight up because I feel like there's more to come from him.
Okay, I just think he's going to have some tough competition here, and that if he gives up a sack or two, it'll be in the microscope in these big games.
I'm gonna go. Now this is a bit of a hedge on my Jalen Hurts stock up. I'm going to go Marcus Mariota stock down as I close this out because I think if Jalen Hurts has to miss any time, right now Marcus Mariota is sight unseen, out of sight, out of mind, and I think if he has to play, it's going to be ugly. So that's my final pick.
Okay.
I hope we don't have to see him. I think you're only going to see him if he gets injured.
Or maybe the Eagles have like a 3-touchdown lead late in the game.
Well, yeah, sure.
They're trying to keep him fresh. You get to see Marcus Mariota out there and kind of placate what could have been in 2015. Okay,
so the big guys who we didn't have a take on here, we didn't, Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell. I would have had Kenny Gainwell down. What about you? This is not on the record.
I mean, he's pretty low as it is, I think. So yeah. I would actually probably go slightly up.
I'm surprised you didn't go Albert O up. No catches at all. All you need is one big play.
Yeah, look, I know we have diehards and sickos watching us. I'm trying to appeal to the masses here, right? I mean, I'm going with DeVonta Smith. I'm going with DeAndre Swift. I'm going with Jason Kelce. I'm going with Jordan Mailata. I'm going with the names that you can plaster on. Yeah, Julio Jones. The names you can plaster on YouTube. Get some of the algorithms in our favor here. And
wow, trying to game the system.
Yeah, I mean, there's more people going and
my brother was telling me Julio last night about restaurants being named near me now, like Chinese near me. So if you Google like Chinese food near me, and there's a restaurant that says Chinese near me or sushi near me or ramen near me, like that's just the place that comes up.
It's brilliant. I wish I thought of that. That's awesome.
I mean, it's like very like nakedly gaming the system, like the bye week thing we talked about the other day, like naming your intramural team bye week. Like,
yeah, I think that near me is cooler than that.
You think it's cooler?
Yeah, Shout out to your
Waymo
brother.
near me.
Well, you don't have to say Waymo near me. You just go in the Waymo app, put in your address, and the Waymo comes. No driver. They have tinted windows, so you actually don't know that there's not a driver until but you see all the cameras and stuff. Yeah, so it's a very pleasant driving experience.
For you, Emily thought she never wanted to get in one of those again.
Well, that's because you have to overcome the mental hurdle involved. If you think about the amount, like read up on the amount of autonomous miles that are driven without an accident, and you think about how many humans get in accidents. Like this is just consider this for a moment.
All right. Well, I guess that'll do it for this episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast. I am on the side of humans. Just for the record, Zach is with the robots. I think
am with efficiency.
I think ChatGPT won you over. Yeah, you're going to be going ahead and letting AI write your articles from now on.
Well, no, I mean, my writing's an art, right? My driving's utility.
Is it?
My writing's an art. Yeah. Yes.
Why is your writing any more important than someone who is like a cab driver? Why is your profession more important than theirs?
Oh, I'm not suggesting it's more important. Different strokes for different folks, right? Like there's ways. Like I'm not saying it's more important. There might be people who want to read something that's written by AI, just like there might be people who want to drive in an autonomous car. There might be people who want to read a beautifully crafted article, just like there might be people who want to have a driver.
Well, yeah, but if they want that, they'll pull up Greg Bishop.
Well, that is true. I mean, I'm not ripping on Greg Bishop. He's tied for number one, so he's awesome.
Tied for number one. There you go.
Yes.
All right. Well, still, I think you've made it clear that you're anti-human.
Not anti-human, but we will do better on tomorrow's show.
Okay.
I promise you that.
We will do our best, hoping to have our colleague Fletcher Cox around tomorrow. So stay tuned for that episode. Back at 11 o'clock tomorrow, 11 o'clock on Thursday, 10 a.m. on Friday. Full week of shows as the Eagles prepare for a big game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I guess I didn't put together that I'm wearing like Chiefs colors. Maybe that's why you're taking your shots at me.
That's more Niners colors than Chiefs colors.
Well, I would never wear Niners colors. That's
Shanahan will be proud of you.
He'd get me injured. If I put this color on, I mean, someone's going to be coming after me. Like, oh, let's make sure we give Christian McCaffrey 25 carries a game in week 6. Really got the big picture in mind. What a dope. All right. That'll do it for this episode. For Julia and Baldi, who gave it a good effort, and Zach, we thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.